How to become a consultative parent. Many parents ask me this question on the back of a big worry that they have that they may have no control of their adolescent if they become consultative. It's true, the ability to control an adolescent does diminish over the teen years, and many parents lament that they can't control their adolescents' choices. It's true, many choices made by adolescents, both small and large, occur outside of the control of parents. That said, it is still possible to maintain an influence with your young person. Authoritative parenting offers young people choice and supports their decision making within the parameters of clear expectations. Consultative parents prepare adolescent children for life as an adult and shape family life to reflect the realities of the adult world. Consultative parents don't control, rather they influence their adolescent. But how do we do this? Really, it does come down to connection and love, which in turn fosters genuine mutual respect. By communicating collaboratively in a consultative fashion, young people do not need to rebel, resist, or reject. Simply they feel loved and respected. When parents embrace the power of influence and give up on the need to control, adolescents feel they are on the same side as their parents and a solid relationship is really cemented. When adolescents consistently experience consultative responses to potential conflict, the intensity in which you are pushed away is reduced and relationships are strengthened. With strong relationships, parents are able to be influential and guide their adolescent in their decision-making processes. This doesn't mean that your adolescent will always make the sort of choices that you think they should, but many of them will be good choices. Moreover, this is the only way for them to healthily grow towards a balanced adult mindset of self-direction. So some of the following ideas might just be helpful to you in becoming a consultative parent and embracing influence with your young person. I always say begin with love and trust. Just like with young kids, adolescents need love, support, and kindness. They need to know that you are there for them. However, this kind of care mustn't be mistaken with indulging their every want. As long as you remain firm and in charge, you can't spoil your adolescent by being too loving. Find time to spend together, sharing an activity that you both enjoy. Do a job together, go to a special event, or just spend unstructured time at home together. Be present, genuinely interested and involved, and don't let interruptions such as your phone, friends, housekeeping, or work disturb the time. Adolescents are aware when adults are truly present and interested in them, rather than just going through the motions half-heartedly. The second point that's really big for me is the notion that over-control leads to rebellion. It's not the assertion of authority that leads adolescents to rebel. Rather, it's the arbitrary use of power with little explanation of expectations and no involvement in decision making. When adolescents are highly controlled by their parents, they tend to become angry and rebellious. It's not always obvious that young people are angry or that they're rebelling because the symptoms can manifest in really subtle ways. Highly controlled adolescents may comply with authoritarian, heavy-handed parenting for a while, but problems can develop below the surface and tragically go unnoticed until they're well established and extremely hard to resolve. For example, if highly controlled adolescents don't express their anger externally, they may bottle it up and internalize it, leading to depression and self-harm. Such highly controlled adolescents tend to avoid going to their parents for help or support due to a fear of judgment, disapproval, rejection, or disappointing their parents. Thus, just like neglect or abuse, parent over-control fails adolescents and typically pushes them towards the very behaviour that we're trying to protect them from. If you suspect that you are a parent who's too controlling, a person who struggles with compromise, has trouble listening without interrupting, a person with lots of opinions that are generously shared, whose ideas are the only good ideas, or a person who regularly is teased for being a control freak, it's time to shift gears. If you're struggling to do so, there are many great people out there who can offer support to you in neutralizing the need to control your adolescent. By relinquishing this need, you'll allow them to develop a deep connection with their thoughts, their feelings, their ideas, their choices, and their personal priorities. And you'll begin to feel a whole lot happier and more contented as you begin to see your healthy behavior affect not only your relationship with your young person, but also your relationship with yourself. Those who are hard on their kids are often hard on themselves too. If this speaks to you, then I would encourage you to take action for yourself and for your family and ease that unsustainable pressure. The third point with this is to nurture young people's self-sufficiency. Keep in mind that when parents are too controlling, adolescents tend to feel offended and distance themselves further from us as parents. We control our teens out of a desire to promote the best outcome for them. However, these actions are often perceived by teens as a lack of faith in them and their abilities. Your belief that I'm doing this out of love is often felt by the young person as, my parents don't trust me. By relaxing your control, positive connections occur, young people feel believed in and perceive that you have confidence in their self-management abilities. Let your adolescent run their own race with you cheering them on from the sideline. Do them the honour of allowing them to figure out how to get themselves organised, make their appointments and manage their schedule and obligations. Sometimes they win and sometimes they lose. It's a normal part of the learning process. Celebrate their wins, and at times when mistakes occur, reassure them that they can figure out how to make things right and that it's okay to make mistakes. Delight in the interesting person that your young person is. Enjoy them, laugh with them, and find out what they need, what they want, what they think. My young people are the funniest humans. By replacing your need to manage them, you are in a better position to enjoy the person that they're becoming. The last point is offer them freedom in stages. Autonomy is the ultimate goal of the parent-child partnership. Autonomy for an adolescent occurs in stages, much like learning to drive. When an adolescent gets their license, they have driving lesson, then they practice driving with an adult before they drive alone. With autonomy comes responsibility. For example, when borrowing the family car, there's an expectation that the petrol will be refilled and that the oil and coolant are periodically checked. Autonomy also means the right to make occasional mistakes without being belittled and humiliated. Leave your adolescent to learn from their mistakes without rubbing it in. For example, wake your adolescent for school, give a 15-minute warning, and let them be late and bear the consequences of this action or inaction. Lastly, I guess I would say, let your adolescent into your world. In sharing your hopes, your dreams, your concerns, your disappointments, and frustration with your young person, you show them it's okay to not always be sure of yourself. Remember, your adolescent needs you as a parent, not a friend. And it is inappropriate to burden them with your significant problems or ask them for help with your problems. The idea is to share with them appropriately on a feeling level so that they can begin to witness how you healthily accept and process your emotions. And this kind of sharing will become increasingly helpful and appropriate as your young person takes steps towards their own independence. It is developmentally normal for adolescents to challenge the status quo, and at times when you slip into over-control mode, they're really going to challenge you. At these times, sincerely consider what your young person is saying. Consider their point. So if your young person says to you, "Hey mum, I researched loud music and it doesn't actually lead to hearing loss," marvel at their assertive confidence and values and their resourcefulness. Even if you know that loud music in fact can lead to hearing loss, you might choose in such a moment to acknowledge that perhaps you're wrong. After all, research is constantly leading to new discoveries, and they may be more up to date in their knowledge than we are. You might say, oh, is that right? Good on you for doing the research. Can you share it with me? I'd love to know the real facts so I'm not pointlessly hassling you. Through such acknowledgement, your relationship stays really solid, and you model accountability, flexibility, and willingness to value other people's input. Just keep in mind the end. Keep it in mind. The end in mind allows us to meet our needs as well as those of our teenager. And this is a central task of helping our young people move towards maturity and independence. Your home needs to be a place of safety, a place of learning, a place of learning the values for life, a place of learning to build relationships, and a place of support. Keeping the end goal in mind of a beautifully well-rounded and balanced young adult, it can really help guide our decision making and to keep us on track with this.